So on this episode, we're going from an empty van to a halfway built camper van. Right, so we have 1,000,001 boxes here. I'm sure somewhere in all this there's going to be some instructions, so main thing now, go through it, see if there's anything missing, because there's a lot of parts here, and between the three of us try to assemble this and figure it all out.
These are for shelves on here, outside here.
I'm assembling the shelf.
Right, so we're about 3.5 hours in with 3 blokes, and yeah, this is an interesting kit to put together. One big boo-boo that I found is there's only one way for this piece to go, and there's no edge trim on it, but there is an edge trim on the back. So someone in the warehouse has put that on in the wrong way. So it's going to be very interesting to see what their response is, because accidents happen, mistakes make. It's how companies deal with it. It's the thing, isn't it? So I'll update you on that. What are you ranting about?
It doesn't make any sense. You've got protective covers on the back.
It's been peeled off by mistake, Andy.
And then nothing on the front.
It's probably been caught on machine, so they've just peeled it all off.
I bet you peeled it off, didn't you?
Nope.
Andy's half made a drawer in 4 hours. I'm only joking. There is actually a couple over there that he's done.
Thanks, mate.
He's just quietly over here with his podcast, so. And I tell you what, I'm so glad there's multiple people here, because there's the amount of stuff we've questioned that each of us doing, that you need multiple people on stuff like this. I'm sure if you do it day in, day out, it's not too bad, but none of us are thick. And it's still, the instructions have got a bit to be desired, haven't they, Tony?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like when you get an IKEA one, it says these bolts are here, these are used for this, and this is what none of that. You just get bags of stuff. I think the only thing that's actually labelled up is the drawers A, B, C, D, E. Other than that, it's just a bit of a have a go.
Let me just, I'm not entirely sure. I'd rather do it up here to start with. There's not a lot of manoeuvring down there.
Well, don't really want the top one until we've done the worktop.
Middle one. Yeah, so basically that just goes on there, that just goes in there. So can you just hold these, stop them from going in? Just hold, no, hold that, and that's it. That's it. Get you big old bear paws out of the way. No,
Push it all the way to the back with a click.
Nice.
Keep pushing.
Look. Ooh, soft ones.
You need a pickup truck.
You wearing a snapback, it looks like you go, oh, I've got a black friend.
I'm down with the kids.
Should we try this instead? I can sleep in that, that's more me.
Yeah, that suits you better.
That keep me in.
So we'll stick to the original plan. I've given you that one and Tony can have that one. You look like you export stolen X5s. It's not the problem.
Yeah.
I do not know what you mean.
Right, so we're at a point now where we've lifted it in place and we're just trying to work out where it's going to sit, because I've got a small double, which is a 4-foot bed, and I think Evomotion does this as a 4'6", so it's all going to dictate on where the shower room's going to sit, but roughly that's where we've got that. And as you can imagine, across this back section here is going to be the bed. Underneath there, that's going to be a garage section with all the shelves for batteries, inverters and all that jazz, diesel heater there. On this side here, we're looking at having maybe a water tank over that arch there, and then the shower pod there. So that's where we're at. We're gonna have a tidy up now, see where we're at. I think another brew's in order, and yeah, I think that's about it for today. And then we'll be back tomorrow, and the shower tray and everything will be going in. So for anybody that's doing one of these vans and you fit the flare sides, the side door fouls on it, so what you need to do is order a different hinge, which this is the part number if anybody needs it. and all that does, it just kicks the door out ever so slightly. It's about another inch, maybe inch and a half, and it just clears the sides. And it's this little part here. And we're back. So it is now bank holiday Saturday morning. Kitchen's roughly where it needs to be. There's a lot of tweaking, modding, as you do, because you build it up, you lift it in, and luckily with this kit, they've not cheaped out on the fixtures and fittings, so everything is adjustable. So we can adjust up the angles of the drawers, how far they go back, the soft close, things like that. That side of things, mega quality. I think the only thing I was disappointed with is some of the scratches and chips and stuff, but as I've said, we'll contact them in the course of the week and see what they do about it, because that could just be some ape in the warehouse. So the first jobs that we're going to do now is we're going to move everything to the front of the van. We're going to lift the rubber floor up, put the adhesive down, put that down at the back, move everything to the back, put the adhesive down on the front, and yeah, there we go. Put the kitchen where we roughly think it's going to go, and then we're going to assemble the shower. The shower is what dictates everything, because the shower tray is pre-formed to the wheel arch. That is one thing we can't cut out or adapt. What I would say from this learning process is probably, in hindsight, I should have just had a stainless steel one made, and then I can put it wherever I want. But it's not the end of the world. We'll move forward and we'll work with what we've got. So the first job, as always, get everything laid out, see what you've got, so you know if there's anything missing before you start. So we're just going through the kit now. So as you can see, we've got the side walls. They're tapered for the back of the van and the roof. So what I've done is I've asked them to take a few inches off this, because this is actually designed for a high roof. So it says just make it a touch shorter, and that gives you the total height. That's the back wall. Paid extra for the bamboo door. That, I think that might be the roof. This bit here is a mistake, complete mistake, and I'll show you why. That's the width there, which is supposed to be 810, I think it is, total width. That's definitely not 810, and that is supposed to be this section here. So it looks like what they've done is, when they've shaved this total height down, instead of making the door a little bit shorter, whatever you want to call it, what they've done is they've just sacked off all this piece, and all this piece, and just sent me this. So there is nothing to attach the door to or attach into this wall. So how that's ever going to work, I don't know. When all they had to do was make the door a fraction shorter and bring this measurement down a touch. Could be wrong, but I don't think we are. We're going to assemble it, whether it's right or wrong, get a picture of it, get it sent through to them and say, look, what you're doing, get this cut out, send it next day so we can rectify this, along with the scratch door and a few other bits and pieces that need to be sent out. I think Andy's starting to feel bad for me. It was over £3 for 2 units, so I'm a little bit gutted. It's I don't normally spend this much money on the stuff, but with it being a 4x4 Sprinter, they're a higher value vehicle, so if you can put higher value kit in, I can't do it all straight away like I would a normal build, but I can then piece together more and more bits, and over time I end up with the better product, if that makes sense.
Are they going to compensate me for my time? That's what I want to know. No, charge them.
Oh, well, that is a good point, because it was supposed to come last weekend, and everything was basically, they put my shipping date back by a month without telling me. And when I rang up to see where it was and said no, that doesn't work, I was promised for last Friday, and it just didn't turn up and they didn't tell me. So I rang up on Monday and said, look, where is it? And I got the, oh, we found some damaged parts, so we've remade them, we'll send it out for you. Which they did send it out following day, but then ironically there's still damaged parts turned up, which is annoying. And looking at this, the CAD's wrong on the shower tray, so I hate to be so negative about something, but you know, and it's just like,
It's not good.
The fixtures and the fittings and stuff are awesome, and you can see where the quality is, but it's just like there's some donkey that works there that's just thrown it around the warehouse, boxed it up badly and sent it to me. So it's just, they've not then given me the product that it should have been. So I don't know whether I'm a one-off with it or whether this is just the way.
It's just you.
It must just be me. I've just got that kind of look in it. Anyway, should we put something together wrong for the sake of it?
Yeah, why not?
So that slides between the two, I reckon.
So yeah, okay.
Just push it in. So that's the total height.
Do you want to stick in there?
I would have thought so. Oh, that's a lovely finish.
Me.
Don't ooh. This should be the easy bit.
Yeah.
There we go, just got this lifted in, so. Obviously, this needs gas and electric to make this work. We've now got the sink in there. Very nice touch. We'll put a little tap in here, and then what I'm thinking is this section here, rather than do an entire pod that's set back, I'm going to do like a nice splashback and little shelf thing here, and then do the pod there. This bit here, as you can see, we've got in, so there's the Thetford cassette to go just on top of there, that's the toilet. Shower unit there, obviously it's not huge for me, but this is more for my little girl, so when we go to campsite she doesn't have to go anywhere. The only issue we've got now is we're just trying to sort out what's happening with this front panel. I can kind of see the direction they've gone with it, but nothing's really CNC'd out to suit. And if you're wondering, we've got a little bit just to router out on the back of the shower, which will then take it that way 6 to 8 inches, which then gives room just here for the second row of seats. Then in the front, obviously, we'll have the spin round captain seats, so then you've got a little bit of a dining area. Right, so we're a week or so on. I got in touch with Evo. I had to go back and forth with emails quite a few times, send quite a lot of pictures, but they have sent some more gear out, which is awesome, because all you want for a company to do is just send stuff out. I think the issue is, and I've just opened the replacement parts for the damaged parts, and this is what we got. Literally, absolutely no packing, no protection, no nothing. At this point, I actually feel sorry for them, because that's shit. There is someone in their warehouse that is undermining that company, because they make some nice gear. They've, I'm thinking, gone into the warehouse and said, look, remake this stuff up, it's damaged, and then someone's not bothered wrapping. I mean, to me, you just put a bit of packaging around each individual piece of wood and then put it in the box with a bit of protection on and send it out, not just chuck everything in a box and good luck. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to check over this now, and hopefully it's turned up undamaged, because it's, you don't want to be a Karen and complain all the time, but at the end of the day, this was over £3 grand for 2 units. So when you spend that kind of money, you want it to be mint. You want what's advertised as brand new, undamaged gear, don't you? We've got the kitchen done. Just need to change the drawer and one of the trims that's still missing. That I'm going to have to email them again. We've got the shower put together, so that's just waiting on. One, I need to sort something with the door handle because it's crap, and two, I need to have some sort of latch mechanism for when I'm driving the Play, which is no fault of the design or anything. It's purely down to because I've had it whipped off. There's normally a top piece that goes on there that will keep it a bit more rigid. So what I'm going to have to do is, when the panel that surrounds the pop top goes on, I can then fasten up through that. I'll also have a chute thing that comes across for when I'm in transit. No issues. As well as that, Friday night I went to see Aid, and I've got the seats. So these aren't bolted down, but this is high on the list to do, because now that I've got the seats, once they're bolted down to the chassis, I've then got a van that can transport 5, which means I can get rid of the double passenger seat in the front, and I can go to the captain seats. Happy days. So then we are officially a camper that can travel for and sleep for. So after Truckfest, obviously everything's minging. I also put some sealant on here, some oil, and as you can imagine, it's sticky. So we're going to give everything a quick clean, a wipe out, an empty, just so we've got a fresh start. And then what we can do, I don't know if you can see these pieces here, they're going to go up at the top with the spotlights in. So what we're going to do, this is literally just placed in so I could drive home, because funnily enough, the in its actual seating position takes up the least amount of space. So we'll get this lovely cushion off, velcroed on, nicely done. As always, in a camper van that you're working on, the bed ends up as a dumping ground. Got this lift up panel, which is normally hinged. We'll attach the hinges on when we're finished. Got the Truma heater. That's going to be for the hot water and an additional heat source. What Pete does with his is he runs both in a quite an unconventional way, but it works really well. So I'm going to copy him. So what you got these bolt holes here, and have we got anything at the back? Yeah. And then we've got a couple of big bolts at the back. They're the most important ones, because if anything happens, it's going to want to pivot this way. So we're going to put some open grate bolts through. That's going to go under the chassis. And basically, this can't go anywhere then. These little parts here are because the Truma doesn't fit over that. So this lifts it up a touch, and it all sits nicely over the top. Little bit gutted because I was hoping to keep this box as a huge box and get a nice big subwoofer in it because I'm a chav like that. But we'll put the heater in here. There'll be probably a little bit more room for a couple of little odds and sods, and that's that space taken up, unfortunately. So is what it is. But rear seats, there's about 10-12 mil gap all the way around the bottom. That way I can put a piece of aluminium all the way around the bottom and put a Gucci little LED light strip in, which should look just right, and it should light up the floor space all the way around, like kind of the kitchen. I'm going to put a little spotlight on the back of this seat facing backwards, which should illuminate nice, not bright, but you know, just so if you get up in the night, something like that, everything's just got that faint illumination, probably in a red or something like that. Leave it on when I'm camping. If I'm in the woods or something, you open the door, you don't get the blinding bright white light, lose your night vision, then walk into a tree on the way back out. It's just a nice touch in it. So there we go. We've got the bulk of it in now. It's fastened down, it's where it needs to be. Massively high on the list to do is to get the cassette toilet actually in now, so it's not just the world's smallest room. Also some sort of latching system, because that door handle really isn't up to much, and on top of that, when I do go off-road, it's going to have a bit of play in it, so I'm going to do something with it. We've started trimming round now. We've got a bit further with this section here. Okay, so this is all nicely tweeded now. We've got the spotlights in all the way down this side. Few more fixings to go into this side of it. However, I have still got a large cable that I need to run for the battery to battery charging system. So it's gonna have to come back off again, but I do want it on for the bushcraft show. Yeah, we've got obviously the nice soft close drawers now with the little latches. Need to get some oil on that, as well as that need to put a second coat of oil on this one. We've got the cooker on. You saw that at Truckfest. That's on and working. We've got the replacement for that door front. However, I'm not changing it yet because it'd be just my luck that I'll change it to the new one, and then I'll scratch it as I'm messing about building stuff. They were nice enough to give me a piece of wood that will fit in this gap here and just block that off. I'm going to try and get some sort of door in it that I can just whip off on a night time, because if I bring the dogs with me, they can go straight under there when I've not got a swag bag in, and they'll have the baskets underneath. Obviously I've got an absolute mess there where everything I've been working on has been thrown that way. But yeah, that's pretty much towards the back. It's taking a little bit longer, but I suppose that's the thing when you buy multiple things from multiple people, or bits turned up damaged. It's not the end of the world, and like I've always said, things break. It's how companies react to how, you know, how they're going to deal with it afterwards that matters. And although I'm a bit pissed that stuff turned up damaged and they weren't massively fussed to start with, they did come round, they did sort it, they did send new stuff out. That's what matters. So the next bit from here, I'm gonna cut it at this one, and then basically what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and get after work is this panel over the bed and the rear panel, obviously insulate above, push that piece of paneling up, and that's that bit all the way round the ceiling all done. It's one more thing ticked off. Now that I've sorted out the leaks on the pods, I've gone over again with the fix all stuff, just in the little crack, you know, where the pods are attached onto the body. They've gone round, they've done a good lay around with the window fitting glue, whatever it is that they use, and pushed it back up, but there must have been a little bit where water could get in the back or find its own way. I don't know. So I've used the mega thin nozzle, pushed it into the gap and just gone all the way round, and that seems to, touch wood, have done it. So because that seems to have done it, I can now, like I've got this one here with the ring round the window, I can now do the ring round the back bit, and then that's all nice to touch, it's nice to sit in, it's just done. What I am doing, because this would be fine if it was the average camper van for the average person, however, you've seen with the Landy, I can't help but tinker, so I'm doing it in such a way where I can just whip certain panels off, and I'll have like either a bit of tubing, a bit of trunking, or I'll have an access panel to run a new cable to alter things, because there's always that extra light, that extra charging port, that extra everything, isn't there? So that's kind of on the cards because I can't leave anything alone. The next step will be getting the bed put on top and all the electrics in, I think, because I am still running off power banks, which it's fine, it's enough energy, and I've got enough sodding power banks. But we are having a clear out of power banks this week because all the lads are having a shuffle around with what they've got. So the next thing will be getting the aux beam switch panel that I've got in the front. I've got another one that's going to go in the rear. Where the EcoFlow is there, we're going to have a piece of wood up there with the diesel heater controls on, excuse me, with the lighting controls on. So that way we can turn all the individual lights on, off, what have you. We can reach it from the bed, we can reach it from the kitchen, we can almost reach it from here. So we'll get that fuse board in, and then we're going to have to look at some sort of battery system, a solar system, a battery to battery charging system. What else will we need? And a shunt, so we can see how much power we've actually got. We'll have a look at what options. I really want to do it the same as the Land Rover because that works so well in every condition. So I kind of want to mimic that. But as you can imagine, I've done a lot to this van in a very short space of time. So it's a case of what I can do budget-wise. The other thing I've got to work out as well is, because obviously batteries, charging systems, all the rest of it, it takes quite a bit of space up. So I've got to work out some sort of box system that's going to go in the back corner of the garage, where there'll be the diesel heater at the bottom, a shelf over it, batteries where the wheel arch and everything is over on the shelf, and then the control gear behind it. So I'm just going through 1,000,001 ideas, pictures, videos, all the rest of it, just to work out what option works best for me. So yeah, if you've got any ideas on that, comment down below. There might be something that I've not thought of or not seen before. So as always, the comments, the likes, and not skipping through the video so much makes a massive difference to the analytics, so very much appreciated. If there's a playlist that you haven't watched that you can let the dog listen to, stick that on play. I'll be cheeky and ask for that. So yeah, I'll see you on the next one, and I will see you at the Bushcraft show if you're going.